Thank you very much for giving me your time once again. And today, MUDAVADI had a press briefing concerning the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. During this time, one of the things zenye zimefanya to analyze histories because of the questions that the media, the press walikuwa namuuliza, and then I was like, wow. Is this the country that we call Kenya? So I want you to weigh these things. If we are in a country whereby somebody like the politician like Musalia Mudavadi can't have accountability on whatever is happening, right, in his own sector. So how do we call that kind of country, all right? So because the kind of questions that he was being asked there, hakuna swali hata moja he answered straight or he said the right thing as per the questions that the media were asking. Okay, so Prime CS aliulizwa maswali mawili. One of them ilikuwa ni are there any other Kenyans wenye wameshikwa nje ya nchi or other Vietnam as per the issue of Nduta, because that is what's been trending all everywhere right now. So the question was, kuna Wakenya wengine wenye wameshikwa na wako detained kwa other prisons za nchi za nje. And now he mentioned that he quoted a number actually, and he said a good number of 1,000 Kenyans were detained in several prisons in different countries, but not specifically Vietnam. That means he didn't even give a specific number, and that means he didn't answer that question. Now, the major question that he was asked and he couldn't even answer is, how is it possible that Nduta managed kupita JKIA, and JKIA is an international airport, with the kind of the so-called substance yenye alikuwa amebeba? Does that mean that our security checkup during kuingia kwa airport is not like the media personality asked, like, does that really mean that we don't have a good security checkup kwa airport yetu? And he couldn't even answer that question. He couldn't even answer. He started saying, oh, when you've just landed, when you've just boarded a plane, ukienda mahali, once you left Kenya, ukienda mahali, the authorities and the rules that zitakuwa zinatumika huko is not Kenyan rules and guidelines no more. And I was like, okay, we are talking about this country. Tunaongelelea kuhusu this country. What do you mean? Why are you even talking about other country? Why are you talking about someone who has just left? And we are talking about the security checkups hapa. Does that mean that kuna watu pia walihusika kwa hizo mali wanafanya watu frisking, wanafanya checkups and stuff? That's a question for you. But whatever happened ilifanya watu wakakuwa furious sana. So many people were mad. Watu walikuwa wanaongea vitu different. Kila mtu alikuwa na opinion yake ya kuongea. Watu wengine walikuwa wanasema tumbocrats, oh, you are saying nothing, I can't waste my time watching whatever you're talking about. People were mad. Like in that press briefing, I was live. Nilikuwa nimeingia live ya Mudavadi and I was watching. Now Prime CS akiwa mtu mwenye is not accountable to anything. He can't give clear figures. He can't even answer questions ASAP. It looks like someone who's been given a job that he doesn't even know how to do. Okay? Acha nisikuandikie wino, nataka uangalie hii video hapa. Everything that he said, every kind of question that he was asked. But one thing that make me mad personally is the fact that this guy was asked a question and then he started saying, "Eti, who packed Nduta's bag? And when you are traveling, haufai kupeana bag yako kwa mtu mwingine, because while giving your bag to somebody else to pack for you, that person is not Jesus." Then why? How can you say something of that sort? I've traveled, I've been on these flights, and every time there must be a checkup. Every checkup point, you see these things hata ukienda SGR or wherever, every checkup point kuna a very 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 intense frisking yenye inafanyika kwa hizo points. So I don't know what he was trying to talk about. And I remember, I don't want to accuse, but I remember he is one of the politicians wenye wamekuwa kwa scandals za vitu kama hizo a few months ago, and we don't know how it went. Maybe the case is still going on and the others who are arrested, it's okay. But now I want you to watch this video. After watching this video, you'll get the answers for your questions. But what I think this country I don't know how to say it, but this issue of Nduta ime shed light kwa vitu mingi sana. Imetuonesha how our leaders, how they think, how our leaders take us, what they want, what they prioritize, how they want to run the country. Wakiulizwa swali, they have wako na guts za kujibu whatever they want, or rather not to answer whatever they don't want. And I don't know how it's gonna go, but this is our country. What else should I say? So watch this video with me.
Questions. One, so far, apart from Nduta, how many other prisoners do we have in Vietnam in regards to trafficking? And then the second one, I'm tempted to ask if Nduta was apprehended in Vietnam, how did she successfully traffic from JKIA? What does that mean when it comes to our security apparatus within our international airport? Asante.
Thank you. That's a very critical question, and I'll attempt to deal with it in maybe 2 or 3 parts. First, it is unfortunate that a Kenyan is facing this kind of situation. It's not a pleasant situation, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and in particular my PS, has been trying to converse with his counterpart in Vietnam to see if there can be some mitigation in this process. So that is one thing, and we hope that there can be some success so that there is no summary execution as we go ahead. But there are issues that we must also deal with. I can tell you that in different countries today, I may not have an exact figure on Vietnam, but later, because I was planning to issue a statement on this particular space, but I'll attempt to deal with it now. We have a record, and we are still counting, that out of the Kenyans in the diaspora, we have a total of about 1,000 Kenyans in different countries facing incarceration for different offenses. Each country will have a number. Okay? Now, some could be misdemeanors, some could be very serious offenses. So I cannot specifically at this stage tell you that this is the particular offense per individual. And we are trying to gather data from other countries, because as Kenyans travel, they do not declare that they are traveling. So they travel on their own volition. It is their right, and they can go to whichever country they can go to, as long as they have their visas approved by those respective countries. So that's one factor. Second, the issue of drug trafficking. And we are not trying to say she's guilty or not guilty, other than what we have as a record from the judicial process in Vietnam. So ours is not about a judgment, but working on that basis. If we want to also send a clear message as a country, we need to be careful that Kenyans who are stepping out into the diaspora do not fall into the trap of engaging in any illegal activities. It's absolutely important that this is taken. We want responsible Kenyans at home, and we equally want responsible Kenyans in the diaspora, in whatever country you are in. We have been at the forefront in promoting bilateral labor agreements, trade, also focusing on responsible mobility of labor and so forth. We've been talking to these things. And one of the things I've been emphasizing is that please, the young Kenyans that are going out, remember that the moment you board a plane and the wheels have lifted, when you land in whatever country you're going into, the laws that apply are not Kenyan laws. They are the laws of that respective country. So please respect the law. Vietnam has got its own judicial processes, and we want to make it clear that we do not want to market Kenya as a conduit for illicit trade, whether drugs or human trafficking or any other contraband or even illicit firearms. We have to be very clear to this, and we have to be collective and understanding on this matter. So it is important that as we deal with these cases, we have to appreciate that it's a bigger issue, and in certain instances we have a process where we are also working on instruments that are being negotiated by Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Attorney General's office, so that we can have mutual agreements on even how to deal with exchange of prisoners and so forth. And this is a process where you have to talk to each country separately, because the rules may be different, that would allow mutual exchange of those who either have almost concluded their term or they are about to end. So you have to look at it also in the context that if somebody is murdered in Kenya by somebody else, we expect the rules of Kenya to apply. Those who may be involved in illicit drug trade, whether they are Kenyans or not, but if they are found within the Kenyan space, then the laws of Kenya will apply on those matters. So I think I can only appeal to you, and thank you for your question, because it's so important that we convey this message to the Kenyans in an objective and fair way, so that nobody thinks that it's a simple game. Once you step into a plane, you board a plane and you leave, and you land somewhere else, the laws that apply are not Kenyan laws. They are the laws of that country. And you have seen there were cases in Kenya of the Akashas. They are incarcerated in the US on drug-related matters. So therefore, this would not, if indeed it's the case, it would not be the first one. Okay? Because there are others. But all lives matter. And all we can say at this stage is that we hope we can find a solution to this. But please convey this message. Help us to really speak to our young people, because we have a demographic challenge. Jobs may be a problem for us today, but because our population is very, very young, people might think it's an adventure. It's not an adventure. Security checks in various airports, in various ports of entry in different countries are very intense, very thorough. So don't try to do that. And for Kenya, we also want to make sure that we continue to intensify the surveillance here. I can tell you there are so many also incidents where we have nabbed narcotics at our ports of entry. So it's not as bad as that. But once in a while, it's possible that there could be slippage. So we hope that with this, because we don't really know whether she was conveying this directly from here or from another station. There are even very simple messages that come across. Travel tips that don't lose sight of your bag. They ask you a very simple question: who packed your bag? So if you're traveling and you're allowing somebody else to pack your bag, how sure are you that the person packing your bag is Jesus? Thank you.
This brings us to the end of this briefing. Thank you, Excellencies, for the engagement.
Thank you very much for being part of us ever since we started, and I believe that you've been enjoying the analysis that we bring to you through this channel. If you are a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching it for the first time, maybe a recommendation from YouTube, please subscribe and stay, because over and over again, each and every time, it's a time without number. I'll be bringing you different analysis, be it politics, whatever it's trending. I'll be updating you on anything that is going on. And I hope you're going to like it. And I hope we're going to be a family on this. Tell me what you think on the comments column. What do you think? You've watched the video, you've seen the zile majibu alikuwa anapeana. What's in your mind? What's the take? What's your take on all this? Bye bye. See you next time.